A woman was desperately looking to buy a new bra for herself. Her only problem was that she is a very flat-chested woman, and it was always a challenge to find a good bra. She goes to the mall and goes first to her favorite clothing store and asks the lady in the lingerie department, "Excuse me, do you have a size 28 AAA bra?" The lady started laughing at her and said, "No, we most certainly do not have such a small size bra." Irritated, the woman rushed out of the store and went over to the next store and asked, "Excuse me, do you have a size 28 XLA bra?" Again, she could only hear the employee laughing at her and saying that they also do not have any such a small size. She decided to ask at the next store as well, but this time she goes over to the man who is working at the cashier, and she unbuttoned and threw open her blouse and shouted, "Do you have anything for this?" The man looks at her long, thinks for a while, and then says, "Well, have you tried Clearasil?" The Pope found himself visiting America, a momentous occasion that drew significant attention, and was touring around Washington, D.C. in his luxurious limousine, taking in the sights of the nation's capital. As they drove past the impressive monuments and stately buildings, symbols of American history and power, the Pope suddenly had a spontaneous idea, a desire to experience the city from a different perspective. Turning to his driver, he said with a twinkle in his eye, "Driver, I'd like to drive for a while, if you don't mind." The driver, although understandably surprised by the unusual request, replied with utmost respect, "Of course, Your Holiness. It would be my distinct pleasure to let you drive." So, the Pope and the driver switched seats, the Holy Father eagerly taking the wheel of the large limousine. As soon as he was behind the wheel, the Pope's demeanor seemed to change. He started driving the limo like an absolute maniac, weaving in and out of traffic with reckless abandon, speeding at an alarming 80 miles per hour, cutting off other vehicles without a second thought, and even driving over embankments and curbs, much to the shock of onlookers. The Pope, completely caught up in the thrill of the moment, was having the time of his life, enjoying the unexpected rush of speeding through the streets of Washington, D.C. As one might expect, such reckless driving didn't go unnoticed for long. A police officer soon spotted the erratic limousine and, assuming the driver was intoxicated or otherwise impaired, pulled it over to the side of the road. The cop stepped out of his squad car and approached the limousine, intending to give the driver a stern talking to and a hefty ticket for his dangerous driving. The Pope, completely unaware of the gravity of the situation and still enjoying his joyride, rolled down his window with a friendly smile. As soon as the officer saw who was behind the wheel, his demeanor changed instantly. He stopped dead in his tracks, completely taken aback and utterly speechless. Stammering, the cop managed to say, his voice filled with a mix of shock and deference, "Okay, buddy, have a nice day." He then retreated to his squad car, still trying to process the unbelievable sight he had just witnessed. As he got back in the car, his partner, who had been watching the interaction with growing curiosity, asked, "What happened?" "Who is that?" The cop, still in shock and disbelief, replied. His voice hushed. "A senator?" His partner shook his head. "No, more important." The cop, his eyes wide, insisted, "The president." His partner inquired further, equally perplexed. "No, even more important." The cop, struggling to articulate the situation, finally admitted, "I don't know who he is, but the Pope is his freaking chauffeur."